Have you ever just stopped and thought about the magic that's happening inside that glowing rectangle you use every single day? I mean, we're on these things constantly, but what's really going on under the hood? Well, let's pull back the curtain and find out.
Now really, think about it for a second. You tap a little square of glass, and this entire universe just opens up. It feels instant, right? Totally effortless. But behind that one simple tap, there's this chain reaction of events that's so fast and so complex, it's kind of hard to believe.
And that's really the secret, right there. It's not just one thing. It's this high-speed symphony, this perfectly timed dance between the physical parts you can actually touch, that's the hardware, and the invisible instructions telling those parts what to do, and that's the software.
So, to really wrap our heads around this, we're going to treat our computer like a living thing. Yeah, we're going to take a tour of its anatomy. We'll look at its body, its brain, and see exactly how they work together to bring your digital world to life.
Okay, first up, the body. These are the parts you can actually hold in your hand, the bones and the muscles of our machine.
So, at the very center of it all, you have the motherboard. The best way to think about it is like a skeleton that holds everything in place, and it's also the central nervous system that lets all the other parts talk to each other. It's basically one giant circuit board where every single crucial component plugs in.
And if the motherboard is the skeleton, then the CPU, well, the CPU is the brain. This is where all the thinking happens. Your central processing unit is carrying out billions of calculations every single second. It's executing every command, from a simple click to rendering a complex video. It's the engine of the entire operation.
Now, every brain needs a workspace, right? A kind of mental desktop for whatever it's working on right now. For a computer, that's RAM. It's this super fast short-term memory that holds on to all the apps and data you're currently using, so the CPU can grab them in a blink.
So, what's the big difference between RAM and your main storage drive? Well, here's the key. RAM is volatile. Turn the power off and poof, everything in it is gone. It's all about the here and now. Your storage drive, though, that's the long-term memory. That's where your operating system, your photos, and all your files live permanently, even when the device is completely off.
Okay, so how do all these physical parts even talk to each other? They use the simplest language you can possibly imagine, binary. Everything, and I mean everything, gets broken down into a long series of ones and zeros, which just represent on and off electrical signals.
It might sound weird, but it's really just a different way of counting. Let's take a super simple example. How a computer says the number 3. It starts with 3. It asks, what's the biggest power of 2 that fits inside 3? Well, that's 2. So it puts a 1 in the 2's place. What's left over? 1. So it puts a 1 in the 1's place. And there you go. 1, 1. That's binary for 3. This simple on-off code is the foundation for everything you see on your screen. Crazy, right?
All right, so we've got the body, the hardware, but, a body without a mind is, well, it's just an empty shell. So now let's talk about the software. This is the consciousness that brings all that hardware to life.
Now, in the software world, there are two main players. First, you've got the operating system, your OS. This is the master controller. It's the boss. It manages all the hardware, divvies up memory, and just makes sure everything is playing nice together. And then you have your applications. These are the specialized tools we use to get stuff done, like your web browser or a photo editor.
And we talk to all this software in one of two main ways. Most of us use a graphical user interface, a GUI. It's visual, all the icons and windows and cursors we know and love. But there's also the command line. It's a text-based interface where you type commands directly. It's incredibly powerful and efficient, especially for experts.
So we've got the body and we've got the brain, but the real magic happens when they come together. So let's look at that symphony, how they work in perfect harmony to create the experience we use every day.
And this really gets to the heart of everything. You could have the most powerful, fastest processor on the planet, but if the software is clunky and poorly written, your computer is going to feel slow. And it works the other way too. The most beautiful, efficient operating system will just be frustrating if it's running on old, slow hardware. It's a total partnership.
So let's connect those technical specs you always see on the box to what you actually feel. A faster CPU speed? That just means apps load quicker and everything feels smoother. More RAM? That means you can have a ton of programs open at once without your computer grinding to a halt. And a solid-state drive, an SSD? Oh man, that's the difference between your computer turning on in a few seconds versus a few minutes.
Okay,
So why does any of this stuff really matter? It matters because understanding these basics actually puts you in control.
So let's just do a quick recap. The big thing to remember is your computer is a team. Hardware is the body, software is the brain, the motherboard connects it all, the CPU does the thinking, the operating system manages the whole show. Applications are the tools you use, and RAM, that's that super important fast temporary memory that keeps everything feeling snappy.
The next time you go to buy a new laptop or a new phone, you're not just going to see a confusing list of numbers and acronyms. You'll actually understand what those things mean for you. You'll know if you need more RAM for all your multitasking or if you need a faster CPU for gaming. And that knowledge is power.
And that really brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. Now that you know the basics, when you go to choose your next device, what are you going to prioritize? The raw power of the hardware, its body, or the elegance and the efficiency of its software, its brain? It's something to think about the next time you tap that little icon and bring a whole world to life.